A lot is expected of anyone with the last name of Carlson when he kicks the football. And so you got Anders Carlson, 14 of 21. So he did miss some kicks. Is he back?
So the expectation is he is coming back, and I believe he officially announced that earlier this year. Now, he had a pretty nasty injury. So, we got to figure out what that looks like healing up. I would suspect that is going to be on a good trajectory to get back healthy. But will he be the same? That's the question. As you said, there's expectations there. Daniel Carlson was a stud for us, his brother, and then is doing big things in the NFL now. Can his brother, it's always the question. We kind of already talked about it. You hate to be the guy that replaces the guy. And it's another thing if it's your brother. So there's been a lot of pressure on him. We've also put him in situations that were highly untenable, especially early on in his career. So I'm hoping that this last season for him will be his swan song, that he'll be able to really come back strong from that injury and have a really solid year. Maybe not, a year where he wins the awards, but a year that we look back and it's like, wow, that was a great thing that he decided for us, especially, but for him, he decided to come back. But I'll tell you the name that you need to be watching, and that's the one behind him, Alex McPherson. We keep it in the family a lot in Auburn. His brother is in the NFL, was a former Florida kicker. The dude was kicking 70-yarders, or attempting 70 yards and nearly making them. I know that sounds ridiculous in high school. So even if Anders is not back fully healthy and maybe misses a few games, you've certainly got a kid that's ready to compete at this level.
Yeah, and if he's got the clutch gene like his brother, then you're all set, because his brother was ice cold veins in the NFL playoffs this past season. Oscar Chapman hit on 44 plus yards per punt, 57 punts. When you look at the entirety of special teams there, do you feel good about what the performance has been, punt, kickoff, return, and coverage units?
When we talk about punting, yes, I think Oscar Chapman at times last year was probably the defensive MVP, because he put the defense, who found themselves struggling at times, in much better positions than they necessarily deserved based off of the performance. I wouldn't say he's the best punter that we've seen in the last decade or so that we've had, but he's definitely solid, and he seemed to get better most weeks and give our defense a good position to work from. So I'm excited to have, the Australian persuasion back again. That's the second Australian punter that we've gotten out and got. In terms of the rest of the teams, really that's where you see a lot of these names that we addressed in the recruiting class are going to get their starts. Some names like Joko Willis played a lot. He's a linebacker you may see a little bit this year on defense. He kind of made a name for himself at times of a big hitter on kickoff returns. So I think if you're excited for some of these names, obviously you're going to see them a lot at special teams. It tended to be a little bit of a liability at times, especially I think on kickoff returns, where we would, kickoff returns, yes, where we would have block in the back situations that would put us further back in an offense that was obviously struggling. So it's not that I think there's going to be a drop off or it's going to be better at the kickoff and punt returns and coverage situations. I'm just excited to see the talent that we have and see what they can do at those positions.